Okay, hi everyone. I will call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. and I will begin by reading the land acknowledgement. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Darrong and the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship on the lands on which we live. Are there any declarations of interest tonight?
None.
Can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? Moved by Mary Claire, seconded by Michael. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That was carried. And can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes from February 22nd? Moved by Michael.
I can second it, but I wasn't there. Just to move us along. Okay.
Seconded by Mary.
Okay.
All those in favor? Opposed? That was carried. Okay, so we'll move to item 6, which is selection of the chair and vice chair. So I will call for nominations for subcommittee chair, and I'll need a mover and a seconder for each.
I would like to nominate Michael to be the chair.
Okay, is there a seconder?
I'm already the chair of the road safety committee. I don't need to be 2 chairs.
Oh, are you the chair of the road safety committee? Oh, congratulations. Yeah. I did not know that.
Nice.
Okay, very good.
So we would need a seconder for the nomination.
Ricardo, if you're there, you can use that raise hand button.
Yes, that also works. If you're speaking, Ricardo, we aren't able to hear you. You know, Michael, if you would like, you could second your own nomination and make it like a self-nomination.
All right, I guess I'll nominate myself.
Perfect. Do you accept your nomination?
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks.
Okay. I will call a second and third time for nominations for the chair. Can I get a mover and a seconder to close the nominations for committee chair?
I can move it.
Moved by Mary.
Claire.
And seconded by Michael. Okay. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That was carried. There being only one nominee, please join me in congratulating committee chair Michael. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Michael.
So thanks, now move on to nominations for subcommittee vice chair. I'll need a mover and seconder for both. Sorry, I can't hear you, Michael. I see you talking.
Sorry, I'll nominate Mary Claire for vice chair.
Okay. I will decline.
Okay.
I think we need to move on with new people.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, there is also 5 people on this committee, so we can always come back to this next week if there's no nominations for vice chair at this time. Okay. Is everyone good with that?
Can I ask a question? I'm not Megan, it's the first time I've met you, and hi. What is your background? For joining the committee?
I'm a planner, so I'm helping Sean as a staff. So I'm not the staff liaison, I'm a part of staff.
Oh, I see. Okay. Darn, I was going to nominate you. Okay, can't do that though. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Megan, for explaining that. All right.
Okay, so we'll move vice chair elections until next week. Michael, did you want to chair the remainder of the meeting?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send you an email with the script. Hopefully it works this time. Okay, I just sent the email.
Oh, look at that. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I guess the first business is committee business, right? The work plan. So we're currently tasked with creating work plan for goals over the next 3 years. Mary Claire, you weren't here last time. Did you have certain goals that you wanted to accomplish on this term?
Well, I did read the minutes and would like to mention, if I could, through you, Michael, with regard to collection donations to run a bike decorating contest at Canada Day Parade. We did have extensive conversations before the previous Active Transportation Committee came to a conclusion last term that the Thorold Credit Union has been involved in doing that for many years and will continue to do that, and that is the wish. So it was Tim Whalen we spoke to with regard to that. And so before we look at that, I think a conversation needs to be held with Tim Whalen and the Thorold Credit Union, because they did wish to continue to run something which they have been doing for many years.
If that's something we can do where we bring them in the meeting and ask them, or that can be done with a formal email?
Whichever way you would prefer. It can certainly be done through a member of staff, can consult with him and just see whether they wish to do it and continue to do it. But certainly that was expressed last year in June.
Okay, I have no problem with bringing them on the next meeting. We can have a discussion. I think we're trying to plan on that. Well, we can send an email as well. That's perfectly acceptable, because we're trying to do that before the July 1st weekend, obviously, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Sydney, if we get the email information, I guess I can email on behalf of the, I'll do an email on behalf and CC the clerk's department. Mary Claire, if you're able to send me his email information, I can get that sent out tomorrow.
I don't know that I would still have that. Sorry, we just spoke on the phone with regard to
okay.
it. Yeah.
Sorry, Sydney, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I can send you Regional Councillor Whalen's information.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let's get the Broderick Road construction this year. We have the DQ Road. So do we have any other goals for the committee for the term? Ricardo, I don't know if you can hear us, but do you have anything that you'd like to see that we can do for this term?
Through you, if I could, Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
the second bullet, which is educate elementary students on bicycle safety training. We worked wonderfully with Heart Niagara to provide the opportunity to grade 6s. We did find, though, last year that we didn't have the percentage of participation by the students that we would have liked, and parents' permission for the children to participate in. So just a word of caution with regard to how the committee proceeds. Certainly I forwarded to everyone, to Sydney, and I'm sure you shared it with everyone. Back on February the 24th, Karen Stern from Heart Niagara did send information with regard to the program. Basically expanding the bicycle repair and mechanic program 2023. I did send it to you on February 24th at 12:34 p.m. So that, just to give you some background information, Mr. Chair, with regard to that, however the committee chooses to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we definitely want to do that again. So you mentioned that the percentage wasn't up to what were our standards, I guess?
Well, what we found was that certainly I would like to compliment the number of children that participated at Prince of Wales School. We had an excellent participation there. And I did go to their Richmond school to see, actually, I was also at Monsignor Clancy, which is now Holy Rosary, to see the participation last year. But when we got the final stats from the participation through Heart Niagara, probably there needs to be discussion as to how best to increase the participation in whatever this committee decides to do with regard to bike safety training.
Okay. With that, did we send out an email to the principals of each school to kind of gather their interest? Like, what were the steps that we did previously? Maybe we can try something a bit different.
Okay. So the process has been that first of all, what we have to do is go through the school board itself. So we contact the superintendents of the school, superintendent who oversees the schools within this area. Then once the approval is given by the superintendent through, and the superintendent communicates that approval to the principals of the schools, then we contact the principals of the school in person, providing them with documentation as to what the program is about and providing them with the forms that the children need to have the parents complete in order for them to participate. So that's the process. First of all, we have to go through the school board itself and then to the schools and the principals' participation. Yes.
Thank you, Mary Claire.
You're welcome.
Then just one more. Oh, sorry, Sean, you had your hand up.
Can I make a suggestion for your work plan?
Please do.
About the bicycle-friendly city application, if you're interested in doing that again.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Is there like a website or something where I can gather some more information about the program?
Just share the road. That's who the application would be through.
Share the road. Okay.
And I believe, what is it, every 4 years or something like that? Mary?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's every 4 years. Yeah. And then last, when we reapplied for it and received a bronze, if I may, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, we did receive a bronze designation, and I think we were 9 communities in Ontario that received that last fall, a designation period. We received bronze. It is quite an extensive application process, which the committee was involved in for 3 to 4 months to complete it. And in addition to that, certainly Sean, through his department and other members of staff, spent an exhaustive amount of time completing the application form. And I may, just on a personal note, I did feel that the goalpost was moved back from the requirements that we had in order to, well, honestly, we thought we'd get a gold, to what now the requirements were. So just a cautionary note, just to maybe look into it to see, and maybe this is a requirement of this committee that we do that, complete the Bicycle Friendly Award through shared, you said that,
Share the road.
Yeah.
Share the road. Yeah. Just to see the benefits of this program to the city of Thorold and designation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that should be one of our, definitely one of our work reforms that we're working towards. The question I have is, since we said we've done this before, when is this coming up again, since it's only every 4 years?
So it would, sorry, Megan.
Through the
My
chair,
apologies.
I put a link just for your reference to find the website quickly, just in the chat box. I don't know if you guys can see it or not.
I got it here, thanks.
Have some information.
So I suspect it'll be 2026.
If you're interested in applying, next round of applications will be early 2023. Huh. Okay, I'll do some more digging around on here. Okay, thank you for the link. Okay, we can, I'll do some research and I'll send an email to everybody to see how we can go about doing this. So Sean, was this something that the city of Thorold obviously did the heavy lifting, so to speak, on this application before?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it was a direction by council, actually. It was directed, the committee was directed by council to help out and work through that process.
Okay.
I don't think you have that same direction at this point in time from council, so.
Okay. Go ahead, Sydney.
For you, Mr. Chair, I think we should get some more information on it first and when the deadlines and everything like that is. But the process in the future would be, if you wanted to, you could make a recommendation to council, and then council would be able to direct staff and the committee.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to do my homework on this one, so I'll let you guys know. Okay, thank you, Sydney. Let's see what we got on the agenda here. Let's see. So Sydney, I noticed we have like a couple of things, like we noted like DQ Road, Egger Road. Was that just information where, Sean is able to talk about those projects?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, Sean put those on the agenda. I think there's a few things he wanted the committee's opinion on, so he'd be able to speak to those.
Okay, awesome. So 8.2 Broderick Road. Mr. Dunsmore, you put it on the agenda. Take it away.
All right, through you, Mr. Chair. First thing I want to say is that tomorrow night, there is a public information center for the Broderick Road reconstruction. Broderick Road, as you may be aware, is a divided road, if you will. It's the only divided road in the city of Thorold. And one of the proposals that the proposal we're putting forward to reconstruct it is to undivide it. And I am going to share my screen with you. And I would like to show you some information that we plan on presenting tomorrow at the PIC. Okay, so here's the Broderick Road webpage, right? And what we're hoping to do in the spring of this year is do the red part, phase 1. Phase 2 will come after that. The plan of attack is to, rather than have that, you can see it in the photo here, the boulevard down the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to eliminate that. And the way it is right now is there's about, each lane is about 7.5 meters wide. This whole road at the end of the day will only be about 7.5 meters wide, and it'll have traffic going both directions. We have a whole presentation that we're planning on sharing tomorrow's meeting. So we would like you to attend and make comments, either as an individual or as the committee as a whole. And what we would like, what would really help us out is if we could get some sort of endorsement from this committee on this project in general. And all that information that I just showed you is available on our website. This is directly from our website. Matter of fact, that's what I was sharing, was the screen on my website. Okay.
Quite interesting you bring that up, because that's where I live on that street. So I'm very, I'm very well aware of this construction project, and I have lots of questions I was going to ask tomorrow.
Excellent.
So I'm not sure if I should talk about it now, but I am interested in asking, when you say you would like to be endorsed by the committee, meaning that we agree with the plan, that type of endorsement?
That's the type of endorsement we're looking for. Yep.
Okay. The one question I have that I'll ask with the committee here is, on the original proposal, the south side of Broderick was supposed to be a bike lane, a multi-use functional pathway. Now, I'm not sure what happened in the February meeting in 2020, but I'm guessing that the residents did not see it that way and they wanted to have parking. Is that somewhat close to what happened?
That's exactly what happened, yes.
Okay, I mean, street parking is a big concern with everybody, so I can understand that. Okay, and then I guess I'll throw one more question in there just for the fun of it. So you have the street lights currently in the middle of the street. Those obviously will have to be replaced. Any ideas of where they're gonna go?
They'll go on, because Broderick is a collector road. It's more than a local road. What will happen is we're going to have sidewalks on both sides of the road, and because of that, we'll stagger the lights. They'll go opposite sides. There'll be some lights on both sides.
Okay, so you're gonna spread it around. Okay,
That's right.
I'd like to open up discussion for any other members to Sean for this project here.
So what, Sean, through you, Mr. Chair, and I happen to live on the corner of Broderick and Parkdale. So I'm familiar with the street itself, and certainly I avoid driving it if at all possible. So that being said, just wondering about the treescape. What are the plans with regard to the treescape? And I think if I saw correctly, and I did bend into the screen, so you're going to do from west up to maybe Westmount. Is that at the first phase? West to Westmount?
Yep.
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 Okay. And then truly there are trees on the boulevard. I wouldn't say that they are, shall we say, trees that
Of significance. How about that?
of significance, true. There's only 3 of them, and that's closer to Westmount that may have been planted more than a short period of time ago. And many of them are not in very good shape in any case. So just wondering the plans for treescaping. I guess on either side, you're putting in sidewalks, which is great to have the sidewalks even behind Westmount School all the way along there. The treescaping.
The plan for the treescaping is to put a street tree on every front lawn of every property, as we would in any other development. So what that's going to work out to is a lot more trees than currently there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then just to follow up from Michael's question, through you, Mr. Chair, will there be a bike lane somewhere? And
No,
I didn't.
I don't believe so on the drawings that I've seen. I don't believe that there's bike lanes anymore.
Okay.
Like I said, like Michael said, it showed up on the original PIC that there was going to be a multi-use trail down the south side. That was actually something that was disagreed with by a lot of the people who participated in our early PICs.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Okay, and just one last question for me, because I was going to ask the trees tomorrow, but Mary Claire was a very good question. So I mean, I see the city planting trees on these new developments, and these little tiny guys that just never end up being anything. Is there some kind of plan, like how old is the tree going to be when we plant it, and is there some kind of guide for the residents on how to help get the tree to achieve maximum growth? How's that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we have a guide to help them grow for sure. We have definitely instructions on watering and so forth. Most of the time, they don't need much care on that front. As for the size, we usually plant a 2-inch caliper tree at 2 feet above the ground. So at 2 feet above the ground, you're getting a tree about that wide around. So not much more than a sapling, but more than a sapling. Matter of fact, I live over on McDonough, and I had one planted in my front lawn last year because my old one died. And so if you really want, I could take a picture of it and show you the type of tree that we're hoping to put in that situation.
I think that would be good for the presentation because I'm sure people would be interested in that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure. We can do that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Mary Claire, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, with regard to, you had said presently it's, and correct me if I'm wrong here, 7 meters on each side of the boulevard in the center. And at the end of the reconstruction, it will be 7 meters in total of one lane going in both directions, somewhere in that.
Yeah, about
Okay.
7.5 total.
Okay.
There'll be some spots where we have some on-street parking, so it'll be a little wider there, but
Right.
7.5 as a general rule.
Okay. So the additional frontage, is that going to be on the south side or the north side, or divided equally between the two?
Our plan at this point in time is to put the center of the road right down the center of the road allowance. So right where
Okay.
the trees are, so it'll be divided up. The extra space will be divided up on either side.
Okay.
Right now that boulevard is about 3 meters wide.
All right.
So we'll just be a little bit wider than the boulevard on each side. And then everything else will be put back as grass. And so, yes, it will extend people's driveways and their front lawns.
Okay. And I'm sure people will ask this through yourself, Mr. Chair. Then the city will support the reconstruction and realignment of people's driveways and that sort of thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
More than support will do.
Oh, well, there
It'll
you
be
go.
part of the project.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So Mr. Dunsmore did ask for an endorsement. I think I'm pretty positive about this project. I'd like to motion it to a vote to see if we can carry the endorsement for the city of Thorold. Mr. Dunsmore. Sydney, please go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair. If you would like to make that motion, we would just need a seconder first, and then we
Okay.
could discuss and vote.
I get a seconder for the motion. Mary Claire, thank you. Okay, so I believe you have our endorsement.
Okay.
Ms. Sydney, please go ahead.
Sorry, so you just need to officially call the vote, and you
Okay.
do have a vote in this.
Okay. Everyone in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Motion, vote, good. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have a stamp, but there you go. Okay, moving along here. Mr. Dunsmore, you have some information about DQ Road?
Yeah, similarly to the, well, kind of similarly to the Broderick, we had a PIC, the first PIC for DQ Road last week. DQ Road from Richmond Street down to Beaver Dams. Again, if you see on our website, we actually have that that spot as well. On our DQ Road construction. Okay, and you can see that we're looking at it from DQ Road from Richmond. This is Richmond over here to Beaver Dams.
Mhm.
Our contemplation of the project is that we're looking at putting a multi-use trail on this one.
Mhm.
Can you see that?
It's very small, but yes.
Oh, yes. I can zoom in for you. Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
There's a plus or minus sign. There's also a magnifying glass there by the printer. Almost there. Yeah. Let's search. Okay. So there's a plus or minuses in the middle.
I can't see it. It's underneath my
Oh.
it's underneath my share screen thing.
Oh my goodness, that's big now.
Well, I can't quite manipulate it for whatever reason, but if you look at the drawing in some detail, there's a multi-use trail on the south side here along the front of Melswart Park.
Mhm.
We're also proposing putting a parking off-street, well, on-street parking, angled parking to give access to that toboggan hill
Right.
Mhm.
in the during the construction. So what I'm asking in this situation is to review the information, look at it from an active transportation point of view, and make any comments or input that you as a group would like to make and you as individuals would like to make.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I'd like to, yep, go ahead.
This recommendation was made thanks to the good work of the City of Thorold and their consultants for the strategic plan. So it's nice to see it going forward, the multi-use trail going down to Crew Road, linking Richmond and Beaver Dams. It will certainly help active transportation, and as other things fall into place, I'm sure in the future, it will allow for really much easier after transportation in and around that area of Thorold into other sections. If I can ask a question through you, Mr. Chair. Sean, is there in that, now you're talking about angled parking by the Toboggan Hill, which is great. Is there a thought also of something to do with the present parking facility at Melswart Park, and upgrading something to help us bring more people into that park, because it's a bit ruddy, shall I say?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the parking at Melswart, yeah, we're contemplating hard surfacing it. But I don't think we were planning on expanding it at all.
No, I was just suggesting an upgrade of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if expansion is something I think we want, it would be nice to hear that type of input. Okay.
Okay.
A question on my end. So I pretty much take that new bike path all the way down to DQ.
Can I just get you to
Yeah,
hold
go
on
ahead.
for a second? Someone's vacuuming outside my office.
No problem. I'll take a minute.
Okay. All right. So where Sean is investigating, what I'm going to ask through you, Michael, is that something you would see a possibility increasing the parking space at Melswart Park to allow for, I think it to be used for additional purposes, I guess, as a multi-use park, possibly, in the future.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, is it always, I mean, I don't frequent the parking lot a lot. Like I ride my bike down by it all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
But is that parking lot always in use? Is it always full? Like, do you see a need just from?
If I could, yes, I think it's quite busy, and depending on the weather and the time of the year, but I think you find, even the other day I was there and it was kind of a muddy day, but it was sunny. There were 6 or 8 cars. There were families with children, taking their children for strolls through the park and things like that. So I think the park is certainly well situated to meet future needs within the city of Thorold, but also to provide an opportunity for others to come and take advantage of the wonderful facilities that have been created there.
Mr. Dunsmore, so how many parking spots do you think are currently in that area, the DQ parking lot?
The current situation, I would suggest, because it's an unpaved and unpainted parking lot, the efficiency by which parking is done is not very high. I've been in there a few times and we've only been able to manage 3 or 4 cars in the entire parking, which is not great.
That's it. Okay.
The drawing that I just showed you, the markup, I just counted the parking spots and there's about 26 in there right now. So I think when we pave it and paint it, the efficiency by which people use the parking spots might actually increase, and you might see a decent amount of parking there, so that I've never seen it filled with much more than 8 to 10, but I don't go there every day either, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So couple comments for me. That's interesting that you guys are putting an extra parking on the side there, because I know from road safety committees in the past, there's always people park there, which is obviously makes it dangerous for everybody. So that's good that the city's looking at the residents there. So I always ride my bike down there from DQ all the way to Richmond, and I take a left. So where is this multi-use path? Is it going to be on where the existing one is currently, or are you looking on the other side of the road?
The other side of the road. It will run on the, call it south side. It's a little hard to say because the queue runs kind of diagonally. But let's say south side of DQ Road, which is the opposite side of the existing multi-use trail from Richmond over. But at the intersection of DQ and Richmond, there's stop signs, and we will, the intent with that intersection would be to have that trail cross the road there. Okay.
Okay. Any other comments from the committee for Mr. Dunsmore on this project? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's see what else we got. All right. The Eggeter Road extension, Mr. Dunsmore, take it away.
Again, similarly to the other two, we did a PIC, I did last night, as a matter of fact, for the work out in the Eggeter Road area. And that's down in Port Robinson. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Port Robinson Road, Copmeyer. This is Merritt Road where the highway interchanges. So the highway's over here, Highway 406. What we're looking to do as part of this project is make a connection from Copmeyer Road to Eggeter Road to allow for secondary emergency access to specifically the area to the east by the canal, which used to be served by Bridge Street, but the bridge is no longer there, so it doesn't get serviced very well. So we're trying to make that connection from Copmeyer to Eggeter. If you read through the information that's all on our website again, you'll see that we're currently evaluating 3 options. One option would be to take this Merritt Road, the southern portion. There's a small little leg of Merritt Road down here, and push it all the way through to Eggeter, right across. This building here is the ES Fox factory. The second option we were looking at was to actually move a little bit further south. There's a house kind of right in this right there, and we were hoping to go around behind that house and then come back up to Eggeter Road. And then the third option we were looking at was actually just take this Merritt Road, which is the one that most people drive, and extend it through, almost straight through to Eggeter Road over here. In all those situations, we believe that it'll be an important function of this road to have to not only transport vehicles, but to transport pedestrians and cyclists. So we would like to you guys to participate in the conversations related to this PIC or this environmental assessment that we're in the process of doing. And as I said, last night we had the first presentation, or the first public information center. We will have another one. That public information center will be later in the fall. So if you would like to review this information that was presented, you can certainly do that, and we will receive any comments through the website and everything else as we normally would. Okay.
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 Yeah, if we could get the link to this one sent out, we can definitely put it on the agenda and we can take a look at it and give our input if that's okay with you, Mr. Dunsmore.
I would, one thing I would like to say to you, talk about just briefly, I was going to do it under other business, but if you go to the City of Thorold website, right, and you go through City Hall and then through the engineering, right, we have a series of tabs under there for traffic calming, traffic complaints, and right. We also have our master plan, which our transportation master plan is one of those items. And in the transportation master plan, there's actually appendix C, which is the active transportation strategy. So that might be very interesting or useful for this committee to review. Okay, and then if you go into the capital projects though, instead of the master plans, go into the capital projects, that's where that list of all the projects that we're working on right now. And there's quite a few of them that may be of real interest to the to this committee at this point in time. Okay.
Okay, I see it. I put it in the chat there.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Dunsmore on the Edgar Road expansion, or do we need to do our homework first?
I think we need to do our homework first.
Okay.
Good news, you got lots of time. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then it looks like we have budget. So I didn't know if we have a budget. Sydney, maybe you could chime in on here and what this one's all about.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I believe in the past you have had a budget. Mary Claire can correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yes. Yeah.
So we were just looking to have your proposed budget. Another staff member will be bringing them to council.
Oh, we did submit a proposed budget with the details of it. I don't know. For this particular year, but no, it's last council. So you're right. I will have to look it up and see what it was that we submitted in order for the budget for last time to help you out, Michael. But I think the total budget was about $1,800. And that was looking at bike education, as you said. We used some of it in order to purchase 2 bike racks in the parks, a request from the chair of the Parks and Recreation Committee. And I don't happen to have the budget information at my fingertips at the moment. But
Was that per year or is that per term?
per year. Yeah.
Okay.
But what we, through yourself, Mr. Chair, if we don't spend it, it reverts back. We've discovered we can't collect it and build upon it. So if we do spend the amount, that's great. So during the pandemic, we spent it by supporting projects that we could at that time. It was also used to do some videoing. Oh, I can't even say the word. When we did a bike safety video in front of City Hall, some money was used to do that. So yes, yeah, we've managed to put it to good use over the last 4 years.
Now you said you purchased bike racks. You got my attention already. So
yes, there you go. Yeah, yes. So what we did, we supported the recommendation made for bike racks that were being put in, I believe, 2 parks at the time. Yes.
And that recommendation was from the Park and Trails Committee?
It was actually from the chair. Would you say the chair of the Parks Department?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 1,800. Go ahead.
It was a request made at one of the committee meetings for some money, and we had it. I think it was for a total of $800. Yeah.
Okay. Since we're on that topic, how much does a bike rack cost, Mr. Dunsmore?
I could certainly look into that.
That would be great if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Sydney, so could we wait till next time to do the budget, or do we need an answer on that one today?
Through you, Madam Chair, or sorry, Mr. Chair. I believe Friday was when Stephanie requested all the budgets were in by.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no.
So even if you could just have a discussion today, maybe about items you'd like in it, a rough estimate, and then you could email what you were looking at for a final budget by Friday.
Okay, by this Friday? Okay, let's see.
Okay.
This committee is a little slow off it now, right? So trying to get that information.
Okay, so are we looking at doing some kind of, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, are we
ahead.
looking at doing bike education?
I'd absolutely like to continue on with that, yes.
Okay, so last May 11th, 2022, for the bike education program, for the children we had participate, and I indicated to you we didn't have everybody. Oops. $1,250 for bike education. So, and that was to pay for the children that did participate in that program. And if we add some bike racks to it, that would probably bring that amount up.
Okay, I mean, if we have $1,250 for the bike education and maybe like $750 for something else, maybe that makes sense
Right.
since we had an 1,800 budget before.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we can put that to a motion. Is everyone okay with 2,000 for the budget for this year? Can I get a second?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm getting good at this now. All right.
I gotta
And then I
vote.
guess, go ahead. I guess we can take a vote now. Everyone in favor of the budget?
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the budget. Doing okay for time. Yeah, so round table discussion. If anyone has some items or issues that have cropped up, I'll kind of go first. I'll put this one to Mr. Dunsmore. There's currently construction going on for like a housing project on was it St. David's Road, and that's where the current bike lane is. There seems to be a lot of workers parking their cars and vehicles on the bike lane. And I've tried to use it a couple of times and it's not fun trying to get past that part. I was just wondering if there's anything the city can do to make sure that our bike lane is usable through the summer and not have workers park on the bike path.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, it's been driving me nuts too. So yes, we will absolutely go out there and do something about it.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, round table, open up to anybody else have some items they'd like to discuss, please feel free.
I'm wondering through you, Mr. Chair, I see the construction starting on St. David's Road down by Parkdale, down in that area. I saw, it looks like sewers going to be done. Will that also be the extension of the recreational trail, making its way down to eventually Front Street? Is that part of the plan at that time?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Oh,
Again, you can see pictures of that on our website.
okay, wonderful. Good to hear. Yeah. And the other thing through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to, and this is something I'd like to see us working towards, is not everyone takes a bike, people walk. And Thorold is blessed with a lot of what I'll call pedestrian walkways that go from one street to another, allowing people to cut through rather than, but not all of them are in the type of condition that makes it safe for people either walking through them or strollers going through them or that sort of thing, whether it be the surface of itself or the overgrowth around them. So I am wondering if through this committee we can ask for some sort of a schedule, how these paths are maintained, maybe even a list of where all the paths are and where they are, maybe in a 3-year cycle of maintaining them, getting them up so they are accessible to everyone that wishes to use them and safe, no matter what time of day they want to use them. Thank you.
Do you have a certain example of a pedestrian walkway that's not up to standards, or?
Oh, I've got several. We could go from the one from, oh, I don't even know where it goes. It goes from Tupper
The
and
forest.
kind of goes back in the subdivision back in, or there's back in there. That's a lot of overgrowth. There is the one between, is that Stewart and Parkdale, which has
Oh,
a
the cut
tremendous
in
amount
between.
of overgrowth, yeah, on either side of it
between.
and overhead. There's quite a few that I've noticed. I haven't done a survey, but I've seen quite a few that are not quite where they should be. Even the ones in the Confederation Park area need to be looked at with regard to paving and that sort of thing. You know, it's just a matter of on a regular rotation, just, you know, maintaining them so they don't become a costly process at some later time. Thank you.
Mr. Dunsmore?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but we have had some very strong difficulties with those pass-throughs. There are quite a few of them. There's probably 20 throughout the city at least. We had them surveyed. We had a company come in and do a sidewalk inspection for the entire city. And it includes those cut-throughs. And yes, we are absolutely in agreement that they are below standard. And we are certainly trying very hard to get them back to some sort of standard. I will say that the difficulty with it was we weren't sure exactly who was supposed to be taking care of it, if it was our operation or our public works, or if it was our parks. And so we've had many conversations about things. So what I promise you is a better look at them, and we will try to catch up to the work that we have been missing. I could certainly get you a map of where they all are, because we have an asset management plan that actually identifies them as a slightly different asset than the sidewalks. So we should be able to pull that off relatively quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And through you,
Glad,
Mr.
Megan.
Chair, was there an ultimate decision made as to who will be responsible for that once the process, you know, is finalized?
I believe there was. Unfortunately, I think that there may have been a change in the staff, so we may have to reconfirm exactly who's taking.
Okay.
And I will get that answer for you, though.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, Mr. Dunsmore.
Thank you. Anyone else have some roundtable discussion or items they'd like to bring up? Going once, going twice, sold. Okay. All right, let's move on. So looks like we have the next meeting for April 26, 2023. Do I need to pass a motion for the next meeting? No? Okay. And the adjournment. Need to pass that motion, right? No? Okay. Okay, I think we're good, guys. Thanks everyone for your time. The next meeting is going to be on April 26th, I believe at 6 p.m. Is everyone okay with the 6 p.m. time? That's okay with everybody?
Yep, 6 p.m. is great. Thank you very much. Yep.
Okay, just double checking. Okay, all right, thanks everyone for your time, and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks again.
If I could, just one last word. Congratulations, Michael.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to working with you. See ya.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.